Rapunzel, a magical tale. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a couple who had longed for a child for many years. One day, their wish was granted, and the wife became pregnant. But their house was right next to a towering wall that surrounded a magical garden, owned by a powerful sorceress. The wife, who had a strange craving for a certain type of herb that grew only in the sorceress's garden, pleaded with her husband to fetch some for her. Knowing how much she longed for the herb, he decided to climb over the wall. As he reached the garden, he was amazed by its beauty. The herbs he needed were right in front of him, but he couldn't resist taking some extra for his wife. Just as he was about to leave, the sorceress appeared before him, her eyes gleaming with anger. "Thief! How dare you steal from my garden?" she thundered. The poor man was trembling with fear. He explained that he had only taken the herbs for his pregnant wife, who had been craving them. The sorceress, though stern, had a kind heart. She said, "I will forgive you, but on one condition. When your child is born, you must give it to me." Desperate to save himself, the man agreed to the sorceress's condition. He rushed back home with the herbs, and his wife was delighted. Soon after, they had a baby girl, whom they named Rapunzel, after the magical herb that had brought her into their lives. As Rapunzel grew, she became more beautiful with each passing day, and her hair, as golden as the sun, grew long and lustrous. When she turned 12, the sorceress returned to claim what was rightfully hers. She took Rapunzel away from her parents and locked her in a tall tower deep in the forest. Rapunzel's only visitor was the sorceress, who would call out to her, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would lower her long hair from the window, and the sorceress would use it to climb up to visit her. Rapunzel spent her days alone in the tower, singing sweet songs to pass the time. One day, a brave and handsome prince named Ethan was riding through the forest when he heard Rapunzel's beautiful voice floating through the air. He followed the sound and came upon the tower. Standing at its base, he called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel was astonished to hear a stranger's voice, but she remembered how her hair had been used by the sorceress. She let down her golden locks, and the prince climbed up to her window. They talked, and Rapunzel told the prince of her plight. The prince was determined to rescue her and take her away from the tower. With Rapunzel's help, he brought a long silk rope on his next visit, and they fashioned a ladder. When the sorceress arrived at night and asked Rapunzel to let down her hair, Rapunzel hesitated. But the sorceress sensed something was amiss. She climbed up to find the prince waiting for her. The sorceress was furious, and she used her magic to cast the prince far away into the forest. Rapunzel was left alone once again, but the sorceress decided to be even more cautious. However, the prince's love for Rapunzel was strong, and he searched tirelessly for her. After many trials and adventures, he finally found the tower again. This time, they devised a plan to outwit the sorceress. When the sorceress arrived, Rapunzel let down her hair as usual, but instead of climbing up, the sorceress was met with the prince's determined gaze. Before she could react, the prince cut off Rapunzel's long hair, and they escaped through the window using the silk rope ladder. The sorceress was left powerless without Rapunzel's magical hair, and she disappeared into the forest, never to be seen again. Rapunzel and the prince returned to the village, where they were reunited with Rapunzel's parents. They lived happily ever after, and their love grew stronger with each passing day. And so, children, the story of Rapunzel teaches us that love, courage, and determination can overcome even the most difficult challenges in life.